Ever feel like you're just, doing the same tasks over and over, day in, day out?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe hitting a wall creatively, staring at that blank page.
Exactly. Or, maybe you've got this feeling about a problem coming down the line, and you wish you could just sort of tackle it proactively.
Right. If that sounds familiar to you, well, you're in the right place.
Yeah, today on the Deep Dive, we're really going to get into some core ideas in artificial intelligence. We're looking at automation, generative AI, and this newer area, agentic AI.
And we're basing this on an interesting piece from pmconnection.com. Now, project management, that might not be your specific area. But think about what makes projects work, right? Efficiency, new ideas, spotting problems early. It's a really practical lens for looking at these different types of AI.
It really is. And our goal today, our mission, if you like, is just to make these three concepts super clear. Cut through the buzzwords.
Yeah, help you understand what each one actually does best.
Right. So you can walk away knowing, okay, that's automation, that's generative, that's agentic, and maybe when you might use them or see them used.
Kind of like a field guide to AI types.
Exactly. You're fast-tracked to confidently telling your automated systems from your autonomous agents.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the foundation, automation.
Okay, so automation, at its core, it's really about systems that perform repetitive tasks. But the key is they do it based on rules and workflows we set up beforehand.
Predefined rules. Got it.
Think of it like a very precise, tireless worker. It follows instructions exactly, every single time.
No wiggle room, no improvisation.
None. It sticks to the script. It's what we call deterministic fixed instructions, fixed outcome.
Okay, so examples would be things like RPA, robotic process automation, that businesses use for data entry or generating standard reports.
Exactly that. Or, the robots on a factory assembly line, doing the same precise weld over and over.
Right. Predictable. Or even, say, a logistics system. Scheduling deliveries based on existing data, existing rules. That's all automation.
And the big pluses there are what? Reliability, speed.
Definitely reliability. If it's set up right, it just works.
Yeah.
Consistently, accurately. And yeah, speed is huge. Machines often blow past human speed on these routine things.
Which usually means saving money, right?
At least.
Less manual effort on those predictable tasks.
Absolutely. Cost efficiency is a major driver.
But okay, here's the question then. What if something unexpected happens? Something not in the script?
Ah, yes. That's the big limitation. Automation is, well, it's rigid. It operates strictly within those pre-programmed boundaries.
So something new pops up.
It generally can't adapt on its own. It doesn't really problem solve outside its rules. You'd need someone to go in and change the programming.
Like a chatbot based purely on automation, if you ask it something weird, it just says, I don't understand.
Pretty much, yeah. That interaction just hits a dead end. In dynamic situations, that inflexibility can be a real drawback. Frustrating, even inefficient.
Okay, that makes sense. Automation, rules, reliability, efficiency, but inflexible. Got it. Now, let's shift gears to something that feels, it feels different, more creative maybe. Generative AI.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting, I think. Unlike automation just following rules, generative AI models actually learn. They learn patterns from massive amounts of data.
That are like text, images, code, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Text, images, music, code, you name it. And then based on those learned patterns, they can create new content, things that didn't exist before.
Like GPT generating text that sounds, almost human. Or DALE, making images from a description you give it.
Precisely those kinds of models. They're like digital synthesizers, taking inspiration from everything they've processed to make something novel.
And you mentioned they're probabilistic. That sounds like a key difference from automation's deterministic nature.
It absolutely is. Probabilistic means the output isn't fixed because it's based on learned likelihoods, not rigid rules. The same input, the same prompt, can lead to different results. There's an element of novelty.
So it's not just following orders, it's kind of riffing based on what it's learned.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that probabilistic core is what enables the creativity, the human-like quality you sometimes see. The strengths are definitely creativity, language understanding, content generation.
It's kind of amazing. Same prompt, different outputs. That unpredictability is completely different from automation.
Totally different.
So potential uses are like drafting emails, brainstorming marketing ideas, maybe even generating music snippets.
All of that, yes. It's a powerful tool for boosting creative work.
But the article flags a limitation. No inherent goal-directed behavior. What does that mean practically?
It means, well, While it can create amazing things in response to a prompt, it doesn't have its own agenda. It
Yep.
doesn't set its own goals or decide what needs doing.
It's reactive, not proactive.
Exactly. It needs that initial human direction. It can write a fantastic sales pitch if you ask it to.
But it won't decide on its own to launch a sales campaign.
Right. It doesn't strategize independently.
Okay, so an amazing creative assistant, but not an independent planner or executor. Which brings us nicely to the third category, the one that sounds like it is more independent, Agentic AI.
It really is a big step in that direction. Agentic AI moves beyond just reacting or following rules. These are systems designed as autonomous agents.
The agents, meaning they can act on their own.
Yes, they can set goals, pursue those goals, make decisions, interact with their environment, and crucially, learn and adapt over time.
So we saw generative AI can create, but lacks drive. Agentic AI sounds like it has that drive, that purpose.
That's the idea, giving AI not just intelligence or creativity, but also the ability to act purposefully and independently.
So an agentic system could potentially spot a problem, figure out a plan, and then actually do things to solve it. Maybe even use other tools like call on a generative AI.
Potentially, yes. And concepts like memory and feedback loops are critical here, as you mentioned. Memory helps them learn from the past.
Okay.
And feedback loops let them learn from the results of their actions. Think about a self-driving car navigating traffic.
Right. It makes a move, sees what happens.
Exactly. It gets feedback from sensors. Did that work well? Was it too close to the car ahead? That feedback helps it adjust its strategy for next time. It's a continuous learning process.
That sounds much more complex.
Yeah.
It allows for planning, reasoning, adapting to change.
Yes, much more sophisticated planning and adaptation in complex, dynamic situations. The strengths are definitely autonomy, adaptability, and that long-term planning capability.
Wow. That does sound powerful. But maybe also harder to predict, more complex to manage.
That's definitely part of the discussion. The complexity is higher, and with autonomy comes unpredictability and, importantly, ethical questions about their decision-making that we need to consider carefully.
Okay, so that gives us the three pillars: automation, generative AI, agentic AI. Let's try and really nail down the core difference if you had to summarize it.
Well, the article puts it quite neatly, I think. Automation is fundamentally about efficiency, doing repetitive things faster, more reliably, following rules.
The efficiency. Got it.
Generative AI is about creativity, or augmenting creativity, really, generating novel content, like text or images.
Creativity. What?
And agentic AI is about purpose, enabling systems to act autonomously, to pursue goals independently.
Efficiency, creativity, purpose. That's actually really helpful.
Mhm.
Simple way to frame it. Now, the article also hints at the future, suggesting these three might start to blend together. Convergence.
Yeah, that seems likely. The future probably isn't just one type, but systems that combine elements of all three.
So what would that look like?
Imagine, perhaps, a system that uses automation for routine data gathering, then uses generative AI to brainstorm potential solutions to a problem identified in that data.
Okay.
And then an agentic component actually plans and executes the best solution, adapting as it goes. Smart, creative, and autonomous.
That's quite a vision, combining the strengths of all three.
Exactly. AI that doesn't just process or create, but acts intelligently and independently to achieve things in the real world.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, so just to wrap up the key takeaways for you listening. Automation is your rule follower, streamlining the routine stuff for efficiency.
Generative AI is your creative partner, sparking new ideas and content.
And agentic AI is the goal seeker, striving towards autonomous action and purpose.
And understanding these differences isn't just, academic. It really helps you think strategically.
Right. How could you use these if you're managing a project or stuck creatively or just thinking about where tech is headed? It helps you ask the right questions.
Like, what's the actual task I need help with? Is it repetitive? Does it need novel output? Does it need independent action over time?
Yeah, you wouldn't ask your automated invoicing system to write a poem, right?
Probably not. Or rely purely on a text generator to manage your entire company strategy autonomously. It's about matching the tool to the job.
So knowing the capabilities, but also the limits of each type lets you make much smarter choices about how and where to leverage AI effectively.
Precisely. It gives you a clearer map for navigating this landscape.
Okay, so here's something to chew on as we finish up. How might these different AI forms, the efficient rule followers, the creative generators, the purposeful agents, start to work together? Collaborating maybe to solve really complex problems in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
That's a great question. the interaction between them could unlock some truly powerful capabilities.
It's a fast-moving field, that's for sure. But hopefully getting a handle on these core distinctions, automation, generative, agentic, gives you a solid foundation for understanding what's happening now and what might be coming next.